This is the NBA on NBC. The 1994 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Denver Nuggets versus the Seattle Supersonics.
What a beautiful day in the great Northwest. A sellout of nearly 15,000 fans arriving here at the Seattle Coliseum. The final game of this opening playoff series. One that has the locals, while very loud and confident a week ago, nervously discussing the ultimate consequences of this Game 5. Seattle winning the first two easily here in the Coliseum, but Denver rallying for two victories at McNichols Arena. Game 4 in overtime, and that brings us to this critical spot. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Steve Snapper Jones. They're ready with their voices here in Seattle. It is pinch or pulse time. For Seattle, the pulse they're feeling their own. They're 48 minutes from being very mortal. It's pinching Denver. They're saying, hey, we're the youngest team in the league, and here we are, one game away from advancing in the playoffs. How about it?
Well, you know, the Denver Nuggets were overwhelmed by this noisy crowd in Game 1 and 2. Their emotions got away from them, and they couldn't play good, solid basketball. Dan Issel wants a slow dance. He wants a team that features Dikembe Matumbo's shot blocking, forcing the Achilles heel of the Sonics to show up, which is half-court perimeter basketball.
Seattle, the winningest team in the league, winningest at home, best record on the road, most steals and most turnovers.
So the Sonics want to get back to that fast game. They want to accelerate the pace of this basketball game. And you know, when they played in Denver, their problem was scoring points. They didn't get 90 points in any of the games in Denver, and all the other games during the regular season, it was almost 107. They need a fast track this afternoon. Maybe this crowd can get them there.
And one of the reasons for their difficulties, Dikembe Mutombo led the league in blocks, and another Shawn Kemp, their all-star, averaging less than 14 a game. Does he awaken today in Game 5? Welcome back to the Seattle Coliseum. This Sonics team has a special personality. George Karl and Gary Payton, they call them Pac-Men because they're constantly eating at each other. And Karl has admitted, I like them to play crazy. Well, with more on the personality here, let's go to Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Dick. Well, the good news about the Seattle team is they have a lot of talent. The bad news about the Seattle team is they have a lot of talent and they don't have enough minutes, especially at the 2 and 3 positions. And that's become a big issue this week after the 2 losses in Denver. It's an issue in the media and also with the players. But in talking to some of the principals this morning, Dick, don't expect it to be a distraction for the game today. I spoke with Ricky Pierce, who was benched for the entire second half and overtime of Game 4 in Denver. He said that he, like Gary Payton earlier in the week, spoke with George Karl about their minutes. They're fine with it. They accept it as part of being a Seattle Supersonic. And Pierce, for one, said he will not be a distraction for the team this afternoon. George Karl says he'll go back to his regular 9-man home rotation today. Pierce should get his 20 minutes. And just an observation, Dick, this team isn't worried about minutes right now. They're very focused. The locker room extremely quiet before this game, as it was before Game 1 of the series.
All right, thanks, Hannah. As Karl has said, crazy is good, and we're going to be a happy camp, even though I like them being a little crazy. But I think we're a solid camp. And now ready to meet the principals. Game 5 winner advances against the Utah Jazz. The public address announcer here at the Seattle Coliseum is Tom Hutler.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here are this afternoon's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Denver Nuggets, a 6'1" guard from Louisiana State, number 3, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. A 6'5" guard from Virginia, number 23, Bryant Stitt. A 7'2" center from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo. A 6'8" forward from Notre Dame, number 20, LaFonso Ellis. And a 6'7" forward from Georgetown, number 34, Reggie Williams. The head coach of the Denver Nuggets is Dan Issel.
introduction worthy of a Las Vegas showroom. And it will be main stage continuing for the winner today. The Denver Nuggets, the surprise of the last couple of years under Dan Issel, improving a total of 18 games in 2 years to a record of 42-40 this season. However, winning only 14 on the row. Issel, a great with the Nuggets, an All-American at the University of Kentucky.
There is no secret to what he has to have, and it comes out of his backcourt. They've got to have composure and good decision making. You know that Payton is going to really try to tiger the ball, force some mistakes, keep the Sonics in an open court so that they don't have to worry about Dikembe Matumbo at all, who is on a record pace for block shots in a 5-game series. He's got 23. The record is 29.
You're saying that Gary Payton then is the key for Seattle today.
They have said it all year long, and it doesn't change today. Payton has to have a strong game. He has to focus the defense. He has to force turnovers. He has to make them make mistakes.
This time a year ago, Seattle able to survive a Game 5 against the West, another Utah, and then they survived Game 7 against Houston, both at home. Gary Payton. Detlef Schrempf, who leads Seattle in the playoff series, deflected, and the turnover goes to Abdul Rauf of Denver. Very slender guard from LSU. Out to Reggie Williams, star of Game 3 with 31 points. The veteran from Georgetown.
They want to get Mahmoud off very quickly. When he is struggling, they really have trouble generating points, particularly from the perimeter.
Sean Kemp with the rebound. Kemp, who had almost 11 a game, 13th best in the league. Payton with Rove. Michael Cage and Matumbo, Schrempf, and Reggie Williams. Schrempf averaging 18 a game, 3 on the clock. Seattle takes the early lead. Turnover. Gill. Cage to Gill. Stolen by Williams. A foul on Reggie Williams. Reggie Williams, to show you how young this Denver team is. The last time the Nuggets were in the playoffs, 1988. Williams was the only Denver player in the NBA. All the rest were in their collegiate years or about to enter college.
This is a team of the future, and certainly they expect to continue to grow. Bickerstaff and Issel have done a terrific job of shaking the loser's mentality that suddenly settled in the Mile High City, because this used to be a very exciting franchise. Doug Moe was the head coach. They used to run and gun, score a ton of points.
3-0 on Gill's first point. Ryan Stiff with the ball. Working on the taller Schrempf. Williams and Payton.
They're trying to be patient and wait for Mahmoud.
Well, that was a heady play by LaFonso Ellis. He did not have control of the ball, so he just swatted it off the Seattle player nearest him and out of bounds to Denver. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Matumbo, the mountain, makes it 3-2. Matumbo in the top 10 in 3 categories this year: blocks, rebound, shooting percentage. Gary Payton hits his first shot. Good news for Seattle. Inside to LaFonso Ellis, had 27 points in Game 4 in the overtime win. Former Notre Dame star working on Gill. Kemp wrestles the rebound away from Matumbo. All the way. And takes it into Ellis. Foul on LaFonso Ellis.
The best way to get an inbound play in the hoop is to find the center going to the hoop. Matumbo saluting At the other end of the floor, it's Sean Kemp staying after the rebound, and you have to stop Kemp with the basketball. When you don't, he's going to try to come coast to coast. Ellis picks up his first personal foul. Kemp, who missed 2 critical free throws at the end of game 4 that could have sealed it, starts with a miss this afternoon.
And he's a good shooter from the line, over 74% on the season. But his series numbers not equal to those of the regular year. 6-2. The home team with the lead. Couple of minutes gone.
Reggie Williams is trying to be the general out there on the floor and direct things from the forward position, but in every possession they're trying to go against the clock. Ellis gets that one and a foul.
LaFonso Ellis in his second year from Notre Dame.
His first. And the first on the
averaging 15 on the season.
Alfonso Ellis has grown in his second year and has the ability to post up inside. Good patience that time. His reaction, we're here. We're here to stay.
Celebrated his 24th birthday on Cinco de Mayo on Thursday. That was stiff up high with a chance for the tip. Seattle hurries the ball into the offensive end. Payton pops. Over the top. Denver the other way, trailing by 2. In a perfect world for the Seattle fans, they'll get a big early lead and hope that that'll wilt the younger Denver team.
That's the guy that's got to get Denver in it from the perimeter, and Mahmoud has missed early, and he's got to find the stroke. You're right, Dick. If they can explode, then it's all uphill for the Denver Nuggets, and they'll really sense and feel the pressure.
Michael Cage and Matumbo fouled him. His first.
foul. He's on number 55, Dikembe Matumbo.
Out of a scramble, Michael Cage is in a position to try to score inside. Matumbo gets just enough of him from the rear down below to put Michael Cage on the line, but you want Michael Cage to try to beat you inside. He struggles to score a lot of points now, and so Matumbo, who they need, has got to be very careful with his foul.
Cage, the former star at San Diego State, averaging under 5 a game, and one of the worst free throw shooters in the West at 48%.
Well, only in the West, 48% for the lead.
Kendall Gill forcing the mistake by Denver.
The reach in, and he's able to push the ball off the leg of Reggie Williams, and this is the area where Seattle really wants to make hay.
Kemp off Cage's hands. Abdul Rauf to Stiff. Payton back. And foul on Gary Payton. His first. That'll send Bryant Stith to the line. Another one of the kiddie core for Dan Issel.
That was on Gary Payton, his first. Second team foul.
Issel, a big thoroughbred racing fan and a former owner down in the Lexington area. Versailles, he sold his farm.
This guy at the line, Stiff, is a huge clutch player. Dan Issel really wants to see him have the opportunity to make something happen down the stretch.
Parents were football fans, Oakland Raiders fans. His middle name is LaMonica, after the Mad Bomber, Darryl LaMonica.
They were really football fans. They were some old football fans.
Sean Kemp with 4 rebounds in the first 3.5 minutes of this game.
Matchup that could be a problem is Shrimp against Reggie Williams, and he's going to have to get some help.
From outside, Sean Kemp. 9-5, and full court pressure now from the Seattle Supersonics, and Nate McMillan forces the turnover. Payton takes it in, blocked by Matumbo. Foul on Matumbo. No, it's Reggie Williams. Williams gets the foul.
They're trying to relieve the pressure on the guards by having Reggie Williams handle the ball, and as he spun away, he ended up turning the ball over and picks up another personal foul. Gary Payton coming strong to the basket. Reggie Williams cannot believe the call, and he wants to get in this game. He's been talking with Jess Kersey for the last couple of possessions about the way that the game is being officiated. He'll have to sit down. Rodney Rogers in the game.
The rookie from Wake Forest, Rogers, built like a tight end. He is thick and been a very pleasant surprise. His development matured as Williams takes a seat into not only a solid player inside, but a terrific touch outside for a big man. Seattle with its biggest advantage, 11-5. 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter. With a quick move and then has it knocked away.
They have to challenge Rogers at the three-point line. He's a terrific perimeter shooter for a guy his size, and he also has the ability to put the ball on the floor. This is a player that came into camp heavy, and it took him almost half the season to get in shape, but he's going to be a forceful player.
Abdul Rauf, his first points. It's 11-7 Seattle. Look how quickly they're into that offensive end. It was just 3 seconds off the shot clock, and Gill already in position and fires an 18-footer. 3 Nuggets after the rebound.
Once they get it, they shouldn't allow the Sonics to come to them and get defensive pressure. They got to look to get the other way without making a mistake.
Boy, Seattle getting their hands on a lot of passes here in the opening minutes. That's exactly according to George Karl's game plan. Matumbo with 6. Big long hook and a rebound out to Payton. Sean Kemp with Ellis. Rogers on the switch.
Matumbo got a piece of that one, and they'll end up getting a turnover from the Sonics.
Well, he is a monster defender underneath. 4-point lead, Seattle. George Karl said, what a difference a year makes in terms of last year. We were all excited. This year, a different kind of pressure as the NBA's best.
I think last year, we were playing with an excitement, an electricity, an enjoyment. And then this year, we're playing with expectation. And it's a big difference. And I think our team's learning the difference between the feelings, I think, inside your body. Last year, you're kind of butterfly. This year, they're knots. And I think we got to fight through that and learn it.
And you can apply that, of course, to the opponents today. They have the butterflies of excitement, where George Karl, with all the expectation, there's knots in the stomachs of the Sonics.
And there's knots because George Karl has on one of his lucky ties, which is the feature.
11-7, Denver trails. Abdul Rauf. That was a 3. Rebound, Matumbo. 11-9. Dikembe's 4th point.
Karl only believes that a tie is good for one game, so this better have that 5th game luck in it, and it's the Seattle Space Needle that's on that side.
If the Karl family's lucky, fortunate, it will be a one-day tie. Rodney Rogers credited with a block as Matumbo at the other end.
That's great position by Matumbo. Hey, he's inside. That's what allows him to get that dunk.
Kendall Gill off the window. He has 3 points. Midpoint of this opening quarter. And trouble getting the ball up court as Sean Kemp touched it last.
2 mistakes. They pick up the ball in the back, and then Rodney Rogers doesn't really come to meet the basketball. That allows Sean Kemp to get around in front.
Into Matumbo. And illegal defense against the Sonics. They led the NBA in that call. That's the warning. Sean Kemp out of position.
Kemp wanted to be in a position to give help. He knows that Cage is in trouble against Matumbo if he can get the ball down and deep.
Rogers to Bryant Stiff. Kemp with 5 rebounds already. Sonics on the attack, leading 13-9. Payton blocked by Matumbo. A brilliant anticipation. He has 2 blocks already. 23 now in the series. They got 25.
They have to be able to make a perimeter shot, and right now the Nuggets can't get the ball to go in. That really hurt them in games 1 and 2.
Shrimp for 3. Matumbo pulls it down, and a foul reaching in against Seattle.
The middle is open, but it's really closed as Matumbo comes in a hurry to wipe that away. That's been a problem. Anytime you got a shot blocker, you got to move him out of the middle. They don't quick enough, and Matumbo, he's saying after every block, that's another one.
The 8 was a playoff record for Denver. He had 336 on the year. That was 39 more than Hakeem Olajuwon, second in the league. We'll see Hakeem and the Rockets tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns as Rodney Rogers has his first 2. 4:45 left, first period. 13-11 Seattle. Kemp.
Fans all over the officials. They know illegal defense when they see it, and zoning up was Dikembe Mutombo. He never left the lane, and the guy saying, come on, 27. The officials got numbers too. Get with it.
Sam Perkins comes in for the first time Seattle, and Robert Pack is the new point guard for Denver. Pack not the shooter Abdul Rauf is, but he's got much more ethyl in his tank. He really is a go type of point guard.
Shrimp draws the foul and gets the basket from Rogers. Detlef Shrimp.
They say never leave your feet, but the temptation is too great for Rodney Rogers. He thought he had a chance to make the block. The pump fake got him stuck in the air, and Detlef Shrimp has a chance for a three-point play.
Shrimp, who came here in the trade with Derek McKee and Gerald Patio, going to the Indiana Pacers and delivered 15 points a game. Pat with a quick move around Payton. Can't hit the leader. Mutombo with the offensive rebound. Tipped in by Ellis. LaFonso Ellis jams at his 4th point. 16-13. Gary Payton left alone. Stiff up high at 6'5". Ellis. LaFonso Ellis, the trailer, and he put it into overdrive up the lane. He has 6.
Even though they say they want to slow dance, they got to take advantage of opportunity breaks, and that's what happened for Dan Issel's team. Mutombo gets the rebound, goes up strong, and on the inside, it's LaFonso Ellis with the cap on it, and then in transition in a break, makes an adjustment and throws that one down.
Dan Issel, however, not happy about the last call. Rodney Rogers fouling Perkins now has his 2nd, so we're going to see Brian Williams report in. And Nate McMillan about to check in to the Seattle lineup. Perkins at the line. Perkins, it's almost hard to believe, in game 4, in 26 minutes, did not score a point. He was 0 for 7 from the line in that overtime loss in Denver.
Well, Big Smooth will certainly try to atone for it. He's always been a big game player, and particularly since he's become a Sonic. So I know George Karl's looking for big things for him. Now the front line of the Nuggets gets bigger, but it doesn't have much better ball handling on it. Brian Williams comes in, has Ellis going to the small forward with Dikembe Mutombo.
Seattle by 3. 3.5 left in the first quarter.
They got a matchup advantage with Ellis against Nate McMillan.
And a pushing foul underneath before the shot. Officials are Dick Pavetta, Jess Kersey, and Jack Neese.
In the playoffs, you try to take advantage of every mismatch that you can, and he gets smacked a couple of times. So it's on the side. That's the...
McMillan hit him with the chest.
14 foul against the side.
Both teams will be at the line from now on with 3:13 left in the quarter.
Trying to work a play inside for Dikembe Matumbo.
Quick double team, and Matumbo is fouled. It appeared to be Perkins, his first.
Matumbo is one of those gangly, awkward players, and he never really looks like he's under control. But this time he gets a little help from Sam Perkins, who will go to the line for the first time.
Al Matumbo, one of his strengths is not free throw shooting. He was a 58% shooter this year. But first in the league in blocks over 4 games, second in field goal percentage to Shaq O'Neal, and 6th in rebounds. He's a force.
Matumbo had to go through a huge readjustment when Dan Issel became the coach of the Denver Nuggets. His first year with Paul Westhead, he was the offense. Everything came to Mountain Matumbo. But it changed, and so he's not getting as many chances to score, but he's becoming a more active center, particularly when the ball goes up on the glass.
Misses them both. Controlled by McMillan. Well, free throw shooting is the difference in the game to this point. Seattle enjoying a 3-point lead. Schrempf takes it inside and dishes out to Payton. Perkins has become their 3-point shooter. That started a year ago at this time. Wide open, and what a block. It appeared Payton was wide open. And a 24-second violation. No block on Matumbo, taken away by the clock.
They are always aware of where Matumbo is, and he comes very quickly to the ball. And the crowd not happy. They wanted a goal 10.
It looked as if Payton was wide open the way he threw it up there. Thought he'd catch everyone, including Matumbo, not looking, but the mountain was there to swat it away. Timeout. Welcome back to the Seattle Coliseum, which will undergo a major renovation starting next month. And a reminder, tomorrow starting at noon showtime, promptly at 12:30, Game 1, as Miami and Atlanta battle in the decisive Game 5. Then the Phoenix Suns. How about that game by Barkley? So we'll wrap up the first series. He'll go against Hakeem and the Houston Rockets. And the day's capped off one of the keenest rivalries in the NBA, the Bulls and the Knicks. Our exciting day begins at noon Eastern, NBA showtime. At the Bowling here at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 here in the West for Game 1. Triple header tomorrow. 18-15. Seattle leads. 2.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
That's probably their best chance to break the pressure. Keep the ball away from the guy that Gary Payton is guarding, because he's going to keep everybody else coming into the passing lane.
Brian Stiff. Brian Williams over Schrempf for the rebound. Pack for 3. Oh, Robert Pack, who shot 20% of his threes on the regular season, had the big 3 to tie the game on Thursday night to force the overtime, gets a 3 to tie it today.
Perimeter shooting is the weakest part of Robert Pack's game. He's a great accelerator, a great penetrator, and when he's in the game, he's going to make something happen, plus or minus.
Unable to get the bank, and it gets his own rebound. So Pack, a one-man show.
See, there you are, plus and minus. A quick shot, he missed it, stole it, and he'll try to set him up. A guy that they'd like to get off is Brian Williams. He's got a good post-up inside game, and we'll find out whether he gets a chance to show it.
Now Sam Perkins with those long arms, and then the long feed, wide open, Detlef Schrempf. 7 points for Schrempf. Played his college ball here in this city at the University of Washington.
The Nuggets are right where they want to be. They weren't overwhelmed in the first period on the scoreboard. Even though they've turned the ball over, they're close. They're only down 2.
Perkins now on Matumbo, who is 4 inches taller than Sam. Back. Stiff. They don't get it off. Another 24 violation.
Good, strong rebound by Brian Williams, and then a little elbow right to the chin, inadvertent elbow, as Payton stepped in there and caught a little pork chop, and he's still checking his teeth.
So I asked you, and Nate McMillan now the backcourt for Seattle. Ricky Pierce makes his first appearance. McMillan can't connect. Brian Williams for the rebound.
Now the rebound, the Nuggets get very, very strong with Williams and Matumbo out on the floor, trying to come inside of Matumbo.
Pack for three. Williams again keeps it alive. Tom Hammonds, who has just entered for Denver, picks up the loose ball. And a new 24 as Pack balances the floor before initiating the play. Isolated on Nate McMillan, who led the league in steals. Williams, and a foul on Shrimp, who fouled out of game 4.
Foul is on Denver Shrimp.
Brian Williams came in the league as a number 9 pick for the Orlando Magic, and they had projected him to be their power forward. He had some depression problems there, but the depression is over now that he's in Denver, and he's been very active here since coming in the ballgame.
Williams, who starred at Arizona after playing his freshman year at the University of Maryland, and he's a big auto racing fan. And on the back of his shoes, he pays his own special tribute to a great star that passed last weekend, Ayrton Senna, the Brazilian Formula One driver who was killed. He called in the Michael Jordan of auto racing. He said the equivalent of a great matador. Every fraction of a second you're on the edge, unlike most any other sport. Williams gets 1 out of 2, and it's a 2019 Seattle lead in the final seconds. Trying to get a shot off, and they won't do it. 7/10 of a second, the ball to Denver. So for Dan Issel's young Denver team, this is a quarter that would work in their game plan, staying within very tight touch of the favored Seattle Sonics.
And if they were to keep this pace up, we know that the Sonics have failed when they've scored under 90 points. They're 1-9 in the regular season, and they have struggled against the Nuggets.
Did not get the shot off in the 7/10 of a second. Dikembe Mutombo. Some feel that if you just take the defensive end of the court, this is the defensive player in the NBA. A 1-point game at the break.
Welcome back to Seattle Center Coliseum. Hannah Storm, along with the newest of the Denver Nuggets fans, Georgetown coach John Thompson, who made the trek to Seattle to watch his former Hoyas, Reggie Williams and Dikembe Mutombo. Coach, did you envision that Dikembe would become the dominant defensive force that he is, leading the league in blocks?
Well, I thought so, because he works extremely hard during the offseason, and I'm just as happy as I can be to see the success both he and Reggie are having.
What sort of problems does Dikembe present for Seattle in particular?
Well, especially if they stop Seattle from running, then they've got to contend with Dikembe at half court, and he's a factor if they force him to play half court, because he can block shots.
Are you impressed with the way that this young team has come out with a crucial playoff game on the road?
Well, extremely impressed, and I think Reggie is a settling factor to that. He's the captain of the team, and he was the best captain we had at Georgetown. He's surprisingly a great leader to be a private person.
Got some foul trouble early, but hopefully he'll come off the bench and be a factor. Thanks, Coach, for joining us. Dick?
All right, thank you, Hannah and John Thompson. Reggie Williams, his captain at Georgetown, is back in the game, the captain of the Denver Nuggets.
Going to have a tough assignment because you're going to go against Ricky Pierce, and Pierce is going to be a guy that wants to make something happen.
Brian Williams rebounds the miss from Shrimp. That's 4 rebounds for Williams. You know, with Matumbo, when he was a senior at Georgetown, Thompson went to his old teammate with the Celtics, Bill Russell, and brought him down to Washington and said, hey, convince this kid that he really can be a star in the NBA, that Matumbo doubted his talent. Well, no doubt around the league now.
2 on the shot clock. They don't know it.
Matumbo got it off, but did not hit iron. By the way, going back to the 24-second violation before the commercial, they did credit Matumbo with a block, so he has 3 in the game.
This is a game like Game 4 where both teams are struggling to score the basketball. So a 5 or 6 point lead could be a huge lead in this ball game.
Sean Kemp, hoping to give George Karl some firepower, has re-entered the game. So he's got Pierce and Kemp on the floor now. And Pierce, a great shooter, and he had to alter that left-hander with Matumbo flying by. And says something to George Karl. He must have injured his hand. Matumbo with a rebound. Boy, are they crowding around him. And finally, the jump ball. Askew didn't have it very long. That's a tough call against Denver. They were all over Matumbo, and as soon as Askew just got his hands on it for a second, the whistle sound.
Matumbo was trying to clear, and as he was looking around, he laid that ball out there. Askew was able to get his hands on it. Ricky Pierce out of the ball game. Nate McMillan in. Looks like he may have dislocated a finger or a thumb or something on that offhand, and they're taking a look at him now.
Hannah Storm will give us a report in just a moment. They'll jump it again. Matumbo with the obvious advantage here against Askew, who was 8 inches shorter. There's Pierce being worked on. The trainer is Frank Furtado. Now out of that, Seattle gets the ball. So credit that to Askew's good defense. Still 20-19. No scoring yet in this quarter. A two-pointer. What was on the line? 5 total for Kemp. Well, it took nearly 2 minutes for the scoreboard to change here in the second quarter. That's got the noise level up a little higher. Brian Williams. Soft left hand. 3 points for him.
Here's Steele Pack.
Askew over Hammonds. Matumbo. 4 rebounds now.
The Nuggets are doing a terrific job, Dick, on the defensive glass. They're allowing him 1 shot. Brian Williams has to tie his shoe so they can double up. They're playing 4 on 5.
Reggie Williams gets his own rebound and a new 24. Now Brian Williams hustles into the picture. No hurry for Denver. 9 minutes to go in the half. Reggie Williams on the drive. No whistle. Matumbo misses. Brian Williams misses an easy one. Oh, how did it not go in? Both Matumbo and Williams had easy chances. Perkins sets for 3. 25-21. 22nd timeout. Denver.
At point-blank range, Matumbo misses. Brian Williams is there. He misses. Matumbo again. And out of that, Sam Perkins, who didn't score, scoring today. Big Smooth has got some emotion, and you rarely see this from Sam Perkins.
They're going to take the full timeout. Ricky Pierce with that right index finger bandage. Let's see what happened.
Now, this may have been where it happened. As we run it across right here, you can see Reggie Williams with that pinch and pull, not pinch and pulse. And right out of that, Pierce, he's in trouble. And he comes out after he gets possession of the ball, holding his hand, and he's saying, hey, there's something wrong here.
Hannah Storm has a report.
Well, Dick, Ricky Pierce has a dislocated index finger in his right hand. That is a shooting hand. I asked trainer Frank Furtado if Ricky would be able to re-enter the game, and he said that would be up to Coach George Karl. Dick?
Well, the shooting hand, that's the hand where you get the rotation. That would be a surprise if he does return.
And it's also the hand he likes to put the ball down with the dribble.
25-21, Seattle leads it.
8 on the shot clock.
Matumbo, no one to defense him. He takes it in, misses, and a foul. He's going to a charging foul on Matumbo, his second.
The decision was the right one, but Matumbo, once he gets going, he has trouble stopping, and he couldn't change direction against Sam Perkins. Perkins covering up as the mountain came down.
You saw Dan Issel then go right to Matumbo and say, hey, that's okay now. Don't get emotional about it. Sean Kemp around Matumbo. Blocked, and that'll be number 3 on Matumbo. Dikembe obviously doesn't think so. We'll give you a look.
In isolation, get Sean Kemp in a position where he can use his quickness to get to the rim. Matumbo's going to try to time it and got a piece as a hand came down. He got him over the top.
That's a foul that will change the course of this game. 3 fouls with 8:04 left in the half. (26-21) Seattle. And the rookie Rogers replaces Matumbo.
Ryan Williams will have to go in the middle now. They don't have the shot blocking, and you can look for the Sonics to begin to try to attack the middle. Big rebound, Williams.
It's likely that Matumbo will not play until the second half. 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Remember this sequence for Denver also when they missed those 2 easy shots in close that would have given them their first lead. And illegal defense to call against Seattle, and a technical foul shot will go with it.
You wonder who this illegal defense was. Nate McMillan come dancing out of there to add to their league-leading total, and Robert Pack is going to be the guy to shoot the technical.
Pack shooting under 76% on the year. Gets the roll. Nate McMillan was illegal.
Nate was all over the official. The Nuggets are going to have to get into their offense a little bit quicker because every time there's a little bit of tentative play and confusion.
That'll be on Kemp for reaching in, and that's his second.
The confusion continues for the Nuggets. Brian Williams right here can't decide. Well, do I have a jump shot? No, I want to take it to the hole. Fortunately, he gets bailed out and gets the whistle. But they've got to make sure that they know where they want to get their scores and get to it quickly. Otherwise, they're working against the clock, and most of the time, they're not aware where the shot clock is.
Brian Williams with his 4th point. Matumbo will get a long rest. 3 fouls. Abdul Rauf, a starter, is back in. Robert Pack out. 6 boards for Williams in this half off the bench. 26-24 Seattle. And that's a violation by Sean Kemp, running the baseline, and credit that to Reggie Williams' defense. He altered the thought process of Kemp, who suddenly found the man not open.
The Sonics sensing a little tension in this game themselves. They're not playing their loose, fast, accelerated game, and they're concerned.
They're in real trouble if this man, Abdul Rauf, gets a hot shooting hand.
He or Reggie Williams. They need a gun from the perimeter. They come inside to Ellis.
And he ties it at 26. LaFonso Ellis with 8 points to lead the Nuggets. Kemp. No Dikembe to worry about, so Rogers comes over to foul, and that'll be his 3rd. Let's go back to the turnover at the baseline. You don't see it very often in the NBA.
And Sean Kemp running, and then he lands. He stands right on the baseline, and coming the other way, inside, it's LaFonso Ellis cashes in on that turnover, and Dan Issel was off his feet.
He thought he should have had a foul shot too. Gary Payton peels off the warm-up. Rogers goes out with 3 fouls for Denver, and Bryant Stith back in. Seattle has led throughout, although the game has been tied twice, once at 18 and at 26. Kemp again is just 1 for 2 on the free throws. 7 points for Kemp. Under 7 minutes to go in the half.
Only 7 points for both teams in just about 5 minutes of play.
Abdul Rauf. And Denver leads for the first time, 28-27. Kemp. Brian Williams, and he gets the foul. Or is it Reggie Williams reaching in?
The Nuggets want to see the little man get the hot hand. He is one of the quickest releases in the NBA, and when he can get it going, he can really make things happen for the Nuggets.
Denver by 1. Welcome back, Dan Issel and his Denver Nuggets huddle, and in the pack is LaFonso Ellis, who has 8 points to lead Denver here in the opening half. We ask the Barry White of the Denver Nuggets, what's the difference between pro crowds and the collegiate scene?
It's unreal, though, when you compare the NBA playoff scene now, of course, to the college game. It's totally different. I'll tell you a perfect situation last game. I drove to the middle, ran out of places to go, and I just happened to see Pac over on the right wing. He knocked the three-point shot down to give us, I think, an 82-82 tie. The place just erupted, and through my mind all night, I was saying, I just want to give it one more shot to see if I can hear myself scream should they get that loud again. So after Pac made the shot, as soon as they erupted, I go, ah! Couldn't hear myself think. So I don't think there's any experience like this.
And he won't hear himself think today in this Seattle Coliseum, although it's quiet for the moment, as the Nuggets have played Seattle tough, especially on the defensive end in this opening half.
They have done a tremendous job of making the Sonics a perimeter team. And if you look at the numbers, you have 3 or 4 key players, and Sean Kemp leading them, shooting in the 30% range for this series. And George Karl is used to seeing layups come from his team and his star Kemp.
Well, Kemp reclaims the lead for Seattle, 29-28. And Brian Williams, Bryant Stith, Abdul Rauf, and LaFonso Ellis, and foul against Seattle.
Foul is on number 17, Askew.
His first. Dikembe Matumbo, his presence so important to this Denver team, but out since the 8-minute mark with his 3rd foul.
Williams has done a very good job since coming in the ball game. First for LaFonso Ellis and Reggie Rogers, and now for Matumbo. But the problem for Denver has been their offense. They just have not been able to sync up and get into it quick enough. But Dan Issel looks at the scoreboard, and he's got to be happy with his position. And with Brian Williams working the glass and Mahmoud coming to the free throw line, 95%, you're not going to get many misses here.
Yeah, the best in the league. He was fouled by Payton, second on Payton. In fact, down to the last free throw of the season, had a chance to break Calvin Murphy's all-time season record and missed his last attempt, but missed only 10 all season. 229 trips, 10 misses for Abdul Rauf, who suffers from Tourette's syndrome. Those electrical volts because of a chemical brain imbalance that causes him the tics and involuntary even utterances. How he can still perform so brilliantly.
A little pressure by Denver.
Askew, who played for George Karl in the CBA at Albany. So did Mario Elie, a great team in the CBA. We'll see Elie with Houston tomorrow.
That team was 50-6 for George Karl, so they were wearing opponents out.
Ellis left alone. Reggie Williams. It served as a pass, and Denver leads by 1. 32-31 first points for the veteran Reggie Williams. Askew took it all away, but it wouldn't fall, and Brian Williams has the boards. 8 rebounds for number 8, Brian Williams. 5 minutes to go in this first half.
Smith is being guarded by Michael Cage, but they don't take advantage of the mismatch.
Indeed, Abdul Rauf sees Brian Williams open on the wing, and that's Denver's biggest lead. 3.
Playing on the edge, if that's the way Brian Williams is playing today, he's playing with a vengeance and throws that one down. And again, the crowd very nervous here at the Coliseum.
Gary Payton gets a good pick, takes it inside, and scores. Payton with his 6th point. Ellis over Michael Cage, and Cage got him after the ball had been released. His second.
That was on Michael Cage, his second. 14 foul.
Payton has become one of the very creative penetrators and finishers in the NBA, and he slides in, uses his body, and is able to get a much-needed 2 points for the Sonics.
Oakland, California, migrated up to Corvallis, Oregon, and Oregon State. Ellis misses the free throw. Detlef Schrempf reports for Seattle. Askew is out.
Free throws could become a major issue in this ball game with both teams missing a lot early, particularly the guys on the front line.
35-33 Denver. Payton loses Abdul Rauf. Brian Williams tips it ahead to Reggie Williams, to Abdul Rauf, and he gets it over Detlef Schrempf. 8 points for Abdul Rauf. And a charge against Gary Payton, I believe.
Offensive foul against number 20, Gary Payton.
The fast track is supposed to belong to the Sonics in this house, but the Nuggets suddenly challenging in the open court. Mahmoud gets the score, and playing under control is also supposed to be a strength of Payton and the Sonics, but he's out of control. Reggie Williams finally talked himself into a call, and the Sonics very nervous.
The Seattle crowd are coming to life. They've been stunned by this Denver performance. 37-33. The Nuggets, with less than 4 minutes to go in the half, have the lead and the ball. Abdul Rauf with Nate McMillan on him. Brian Stiff. Reggie Williams pops from the corner. Not there, but another offensive rebound for Denver, and that's why they lead. That's 11-2 in offensive boards for the Nuggets.
This has been their problem right here. In the half court, where to go, who to get the ball to, and when they don't clearly identify it, they struggle, but LeBron almost bail them out. Brian Williams is going to get the foul.
Over the shoulder of Michael Cage. His second.
Foul is on Brian Williams, his second.
That was an indecisive trip for Denver. And George Karl, a very serious expression for the head coach of the Sonics.
Mahmoud battling Nate McMillan right there, almost forced a turnover, but Cage saved it.
Takes it inside. It is short. Out to Abdul Rauf. That's going to be a foul for the aggressive Denver Nuggets, going for that offensive board, trying to compensate for the loss of Dikembe.
Foul is on number 23,
Brian Stiff's first.
These are medium-range shots that they need to be able to cash if they're going to extend the lead and keep some pressure on the Sonics. And as it is, it's a penalty situation. They walk the other way, and Kendall Gill will shoot the free throws, but a huge advantage on the glass for Issel's Nuggets. These young guys, they're not intimidated this afternoon as they were in games 1 and 2.
Gill with his 4th point of the game carves the lead to 3. The team leading at halftime in this series has won each game. Brian Williams, another rebound. He's going to have a double-digit half off the bench. He's got 9 already. Stiff. Reggie Williams for 3. Brian Williams goes right to Kemp. It's a 1-point game. 37-36 Denver. 2:17 to go. First half. Ryan Stiff. He wanted it. Not there. Volleyballed by Kemp. 8 rebounds for him. Shrimp. Foul by Rolfe. And the basket by Shrimp. Seattle leads again.
The Nuggets had a couple of chances to extend the lead and couldn't get it done. And finally, in transition, it is Detlef Shrimp on the finishing in and drawing the foul. And a chance for a 3-point play. And Sean Kemp saying, plop, plop. Fizz, fizz. That's a relief.
Shrimp, a member of the German Olympic team. Competed in Barcelona, gives the Sonics a 2-point lead. Now the double team in the backcourt of Williams are in trouble. Abdul Raouf just does get it across. 6-0 run by Seattle. Right into Ellis.
Right in here is where the Nuggets need to show some composure and make sure they get a good shot every time they get a foul from Detlef Shrimp.
Shrimp with his 2nd. Terrific offensive player is Shrimp. Some liabilities on the defensive end.
Ellis with his eyes bigger and wider than ever, trying to find a way to get by Detlef Shrimp. Sees a little seam of daylight, and it's a painful call for Shrimp.
Alfonso looking for his 10th point. He's now 1 for 4 from the line. Mom gave him the name Lofonso, which means great warrior. That's what Dan Issel wants today. 39-38. So Denver's a team 9 for 16 from the line here in the half. Michael Cage is short. Reggie Williams out of the pack.
Nuggets did a great job of reacting, and Sean Kemp and Reggie Williams have words as Reggie shot an elbow at Sean Kemp.
Yeah, they're doing this. Sam Perkins calls it some jaw-jacking going down the court. Abdul Raouf. Williams can't tip it in, but Reggie Williams does. Williams with 4 points, and it's Denver by 1.
Brian Williams has been huge off the bench, off the glass.
10 rebounds for Brian Williams. Kemp, no basket. Foul before the shot. .47 seconds left in the half.
Reggie Williams gets control of the ball, and Sean Kemp will come up on him. And out of this, a quick shot with an elbow. And this is a deep shot from Mahmoud. Brian Williams keeps it alive. Reggie Williams finishes it off.
At the stripe is Sean Kemp. Member of Dream Team 2 that will compete this summer in Toronto in the World Championships. It's tied at 40. It's not been a brilliant series for a superb player, as you can see. His numbers down in all categories except the block average here in the playoffs.
35% during this series. The Matumbo factor has been huge, and Nuggets have been able to make them play outside in the 4 games.
40 seconds to go, and it has to be an encouraging half for Dan Issel to stay with Seattle without Matumbo the last 8 minutes. And one of the reasons, Brian Williams, who has played a big second quarter, especially on the boards, and he draws the foul. It's on Michael Cage, number 3.
A flash across the lane gets him in position to handle the ball. Has a little bit of an Achilles problem to begin with, and comes up a little gimpy, and will go back to the line.
Didn't see the foul there. Perhaps inadvertently Cage stepped on Williams as he was making his move. 10 rebounds in this half, and he's a non-starter. This to tie.
Returning to the Sonic lineup, number 14, Sam Perkins.
Sam Perkins in the final seconds of the half with the thought that he might get a chance at another 3. Looking for his 8th point. It's tied at 41.
7 in the period for Brian Williams, so he's done an excellent job of steadying and keeping him in the ball game and giving him some offense as well as great board work.
Seattle doesn't try to hurry to get the 2-for-1 here. Perkins for 3. Just what the doctor orders. Dr. Carl sent him in. Final shot for Denver. And McMillan hawking Abdul Rauf. Abdul Rauf is short. Williams, Kemp. Boy, what a scramble. And the end of the half. A furious flurry at the end of the half. And Dan Issel thought there should have been a foul called against his Nuggets.
Mahmoud goes up with the shot, and they come out of the rebound. Watch LaFonso Ellis. It's Tom Hammonds who has the ball, and they rip it away from him.
Issel looking for at least a jump ball. But that is the end of the half. And Dan Issel, while unhappy with the final seconds, has to be pleased with the pressure his young team has put on the number 1 seed in the West. 44-41. We have the Prudential halftime report coming up. The Denver Nuggets trying to be sweepless in Seattle. As we look at the scoring of the first half. Thank you for giving me your support, Denver Jones. LaFonso Ellis with 10, and he had some open shots on the wing. Abdul Rauf, and he might be the key. Brian Williams, 8 points and 10 big boards. Seattle led by Sean Kemp with 11. And Gary Payton, as we said from the opening here, is the key to Seattle getting in the next round. And who would have thought it would come down to it being this close? Second half, game 5.
Each team needs one hot hand to make the difference in winning or losing. Right now, the edge goes to the Sonics because they're at home. But Matumbo, he's going to try to change that. 8 on the shot clock.
Rauf is short. Rebound Ellis. Another offensive board for Denver. The same team that started the game for the Nuggets. Gill replaces Cage for Seattle. Almost a turnover it was. LaFonso Ellis changing his mind about the receiver of that pass.
Ellis was looking for someone to dive down the lane, and they didn't after he saw Reggie Williams was partially covered. And so they start the second half as they started the ball game with a turnover.
Only 6 turnovers the first half for the young Nuggets. Shrimp. That left Shrimp, who has been the top scorer in the series for the Sonics, leads again today with 12. Biggest lead of the opening half was 6 points for Seattle. Denver once led by 4.
This is yet to get a field goal to go in.
Tipped out to Payton. Gill. The biggest lead. 7 points of the game. Sonics come out charged. And a delay warning on Seattle for not releasing the ball.
They wanted to be able to get in a position to pressure. So that was a good situation for the Sonics as they come back with pressure against Mahmoud.
Gary Payton overacting, the officials feel, and Raouf can't hit. He was having trouble in practice yesterday, mad at himself. His confidence down a little. He's 3 for 10 today. Great pass by Shrimp. Kemp scores, and Issel wants a timeout. 6 points out of the locker room for Seattle.
When you're struggling to score the basketball, the best thing to do is try to get it inside and stay in a high percentage area. Denver Shrimp breaks down the defense to get that score in transition, and Gary Payton finding Kendall Gill on the fly. And in a half-court situation again, ball movement, player movement results in an easy scoring opportunity. Dan Issel wants to talk about it.
An 11-1 run for Seattle. Noise level up. The earplugs are in here at the Seattle Coliseum. Sonics going back to the first half, outscoring Denver 11-1, and they've opened a 9-point lead. Matumbo with 7. They just seem to not be able to find the play they want. Dan Issel saying the defense of Seattle taking away what they want to do. Out of bounds to Seattle. Hall of Famer Dan Issel not pleased with the 0 for 4 start. Went into the Hall of Fame last year with our NBC colleagues Julius Erving and Bill Walton.
See if the Nuggets now can raise their defensive level and make the Sonics become a perimeter team again, get a few misses.
Ruled a block. Rechecking the official statistics, they gave Matumbo another block in the first half, so he has 4 to give him 27, 2 under the 5-game playoff record in the NBA.
Abdul Rauf, who has not been able to score, he's out of the ball game. Robert Pack is in.
6 on the shot clock. Kendall Gill over Stiff. 13-1 the run for Seattle. Worried look on Issel. How do you stop the bleeding? This crowd on its feet. Matumbo with a miss.
Matumbo is right. He's calling for and 1 because Sean Kemp got a finger on the ball on the way down.
His second foul. First team foul.
Foul on Perkins, his second.
Penetration breaks down the defense, and as he's laying it up, Kemp gets a piece of it underneath, and Matumbo come out crying. Didn't you see that?
Matumbo is such a wonderful, boyish personality. I mean, life is a joy. Always finds something to have fun with. And LaFonso Ellis has been his sidekick and said, the only thing I got to worry about, all Americans don't say the right words and say nice things. So I got to tell Matumbo, that's something you don't want to hear. Don't listen to that. Robert Pack trying to sneak in for the rebound. 52-42. Denver without a field goal now for more than 4 minutes.
They have done a good job defensively themselves, but in a game this tight, it doesn't take much of a breakdown in order for you to get a win. 4 on the shot clock.
Kemp beats the clock. And it's Reggie Williams pulling down the rebound. Robert Pack. Deflected and out of bounds as Gary Payton gets a hand on it. Go back to the Matumbo argument on goaltending.
Right there, and he felt it was on the way down, or maybe it even hit the glass, but Sean Kemp gets away with a block on that.
Alfonso Ellis, Brian Stiff, good work, and Reggie Williams is the open shooter. It's the first goal for Denver in about 4.5 minutes.
And Reggie Williams, who had 30 points in Game 3, really needs to strike a match and get hot, keep his team close.
8-point Seattle lead. 8 minutes to go in the third. Payton against Pack.
Pack with a good defensive effort in this possession comes up with a steal.
Reggie Williams with a loose ball. A little bit of mugging of Payton is the way some of the fans here in Seattle saw that. Pack much shorter on Shrimp, and now they switch Perkins on Pack.
Trying to get a mismatch inside with Ellis, and now they got to go to the other side of the floor.
Brian Stiff. Matumbo keeps it alive. Good play by Shrimp to knock it away from Ellis, and a foul. Foul on LaFonso Ellis. His third.
First team foul.
So a bevy of players with 3 fouls in the game. No one with 4 yet. Payton. Matumbo. Knocked away by Kemp. Off Pack. Out of bounds to Seattle. Big play. Sean Kemp.
Kemp was laying in the passing lane, and Matumbo laid that ball out there, and Robert Pack pulled back away. You got to go meet the ball against any of the Sonics and their pressure, particularly when they're in the passing lane.
Matumbo on Kemp. Payton around Pack. Kemp from way outside. Rebound Reggie Williams, and clear pass for Pack. Boy, can he leap. You saw that slam that he had in Game 3 that just rocked McNichols. Pack was only 6'2". He can climb. Kemp over Matumbo. Rebound Reggie Williams. Suddenly Denver with a basket here, right back in it at 6:42 of the third. They're down by 6.
Couple of quick triggers by the Sonics, and that gave some life to the Nuggets and Robert Pack.
Forces up that jumper, and Kemp with a rebound to Payton. Kendall Gill banks it. 12 points for him.
You can't gamble in the backcourt against the Sonics. They're going to beat you with numbers. That's what happened to the Nuggets on that last possession. Reggie Williams tried for a steal, missed it. Gill gets 2.
Gill now was 6 in the quarter. Alfonso Ellis. A quick move, and he's fouled by Shrimp. And Detlef Shrimp has his third.
Reggie Williams with a good rebound and a bust out for Robert Pack. He sees Kemp, but he's got 2 hands and way off the ground. And on the other end, it's Kendall Gill beating Pack in a chase. Actually could have got and won. So Pack gets away with 1.
Were you a big dunker in your days in the ABA?
No. I always played with 2 feet on the ground. I played deep.
They said you didn't want to get that close. You wanted those 2 and 3-pointers out around the line. Alfonso Ellis.
See, when the game is over and they count them, they only count them by 2s. They don't count them by number of dunks.
12 points now for Ellis to lead Denver. Back to a 6-point game. Midpoint third quarter. Ooh, Stiff got an elbow right to the jaw. And Reggie Williams gets a piece of it, and now out of bounds was the call to Seattle. And allows Stiff to check his teeth.
You never play defense with your face, and right there, he took a shot, and Issa was right. He should have had a call, even though it was inadvertent.
Good kick of Matumbo, and that cleared the way for Payton's layup. He has 8. Payton with the body. His 4th. He becomes the first player with 4. Shrimp and Cage of the Sonics with 3. Ellis, Rogers, Matumbo with 3 for Denver.
Trying to keep his body on him. He just leans a little bit too much. Doesn't allow Pack any kind of a lane. So the call goes against Gary Payton.
Pulls it down for Seattle. Leading by 8. Here come the Sonics. And that's going to be on whom? Shrimp Kemp and Williams. That could have almost gone as a double foul. Williams gets his third. They were elbowing down the court.
Sticking on Detlef Schrempf and all the way, and then after he gets rid of the ball, gives him a little push, and we have seen worse that has gone undetected.
Schrempf again has size on Williams and height to Gill. Partially blocked by Stiff. Pack breaks out no numbers here.
Even though they don't want to get in an up and down game, the Nuggets got to look for some cheap scores. They got to get a few bust outs.
Williams, this is everything except Stiff's rebound hands, and he gets a foul. Foul on Kendall Gill, number 1.
Offensive rebounding has been huge and kept the Denver Nuggets within shouting distance. They have been really struggling to find it from the perimeter. Reggie Williams airs this one out, and Stiff coming back up strong will get a foul against Kendall Gill.
4th team foul on the Sonics, so from now on, Denver will go to the line here in this quarter. Abdul Rauf with the final instructions from Dan Issel. Stiff had gone 1 for 2 from the line prior to this, and 0 for 5 from the floor.
Dan Issel is looking for a hot hand. Mahmoud is his best deep perimeter player. He's got to see him catch a torch if they got a chance to win this.
Sonics by 6. Stolen by Reggie Williams.
The Nuggets have more than held their own defensively, and they forced some turnovers. They need to see that ball go in.
Smith 0 for 6 from the floor, wide open there. And Perkins, good play by Perkins. He knew he was going to go out of bounds, had no chance for a shot. Saved it for Gill.
Good play by Stiff to keep Matumbo from picking up a foul. Still a mismatch.
Gill with a tray. Rebound Matumbo. 8 boards for Dikembe.
It's hard for the Nuggets to pass up that early temptation and not take that quick shot. They want to come back and get in a half-court set, but they haven't really gotten anything out of it. 5 on the shot clock, Matumbo.
And he gets the foul off Kemp. Sean Kemp with his third.
Foul is on Sean Kemp, his third.
Matumbo, and you're never sure which way he's going to go. This time he wheels and surprises Kemp. He thought he was going to be able to get a block, and he actually had him going underneath the basket. That was going to be a tough try. Kemp not happy with the call.
McMillan into the Sonic line.
Dikembe Mutombo. He is 1 for 4 today. McMillan back in the lineup for Seattle, and Abdul Rauf replaces Stiff.
The Nuggets go with the mini backcourt of Pack and Rauf.
Plus Reggie Williams, who isn't very tall, so it's a very small lineup on the court for Denver. Matumbo makes up for much of that. Gets 1 out of 2. It's a 5-point game with 3.5 to go in the third. Gill got away from Robert Pack. 14 for Kendall Gill, a former Charlotte Hornet.
Gill has been the hot hand that George Karl has been looking for. He's got 8 1/4, 14 in the game, and it has been the difference in terms of separation on the scoreboard.
On the switch, Kemp against Abdul Rauf. Knocked away by Payton, and Pack is hurt. Payton scores 60-51. Robert Pack writhing in pain. He really hit the court awkwardly. Right hip.
They lay that ball out, and the Sonics are so good at getting in the passing lane, and Pack Pack was up in the air and rolled off the shoulders of Gary Payton, who went on for the easy score. But this is sure to be some sort of a hit pointer for Robert Pack as bang. And he immediately grabbed the left side.
They'll take the full timeout. 2:45 left in the third. Welcome back. A frightening moment for Robert Pack, former Southern California star, as he gets caught in midair on almost a defensive back tackle in football and lands on his hip, but he's okay apparently as we go to Hannah Storm.
Dick, Nuggets trainer Jim Gillen told me the injury to Robert Pack is a bruised left hip, but as you can see, he's in the game. And from the looks of their discussion in the huddle, Dan Issel is counting on Robert Pack to be a factor, continue to be one in this game. Dick?
Thank you, Hannah. He stays in. Ricky Pierce, who dislocated the right index finger of his shooting hand first half. They say he could play, although he's way down at the end of the bench, which may tell us something.
Now, Pack is going to be a factor. He has to stay out there while that hip is warm and the muscles are still loose, because when he sits down, that thing is going to stiffen up and tighten up.
Beautiful pass by Pack to Brian Williams. Perfect assist, 10 points for Williams to go with his double figure 10 in rebounds.
Now the Nuggets for the final 2:20 want to stay close. They want to keep this game in single digits while they try to find some sort of offensive rhythm.
McMillan spotted the line but stepped on it, didn't get the three. So the guards for Seattle have 14 in this period. They had only 14 the entire first half. 9-point game.
Trying to come inside to Williams against Kemp.
Look at that steal by Kendall Gill. Ahead to Payton. Draws the foul. His fourth.
The difference in the half has been the Sonics have been able to force those turnovers and get in a streak and been able to cash. And you have the Denver Nuggets playing in a half court, not being able to get the ball to go in the basket. They've been playing outside for most of this 12-minute quarter.
And here's the head piranha, Gary Payton. They really feed off those turnovers and steals, leading the league in both categories, and that's what generates their offense. Michael Cage and Rodney Rogers return. Cage there for defensive and rebounding purposes. Here's that steal again. Look at the great anticipation by Gill. Payton misses both. And it goes out of bounds to Denver. It appeared Abdul Rauf touched it last. Maybe they'll change the call.
The ball comes down and Rauf flies in there, and it went off his knee. Jeff Kersey, the official, pointed the wrong way, then corrected himself. The four turnovers that the Nuggets have had have been really crucial ones.
McMillan gives Seattle a third chance. There's an Askew back in. Minute and a half left in the third. Big quarter for Seattle. Sam Perkins to McMillan for three. Rebound Brian Williams. 2-on-2 break. Takes it home.
That's a huge play by Pack against the pressure of Gill to get himself under control and then to elevate for what looked like to be a very easy deuce.
After Seattle had had three chances at the other end.
Now their anchor today has been Brian Williams. He has been excellent in playing this game. Bust out.
Back again to Williams. And a foul. Fourth on Michael Cage. Fans wanted a foul at the other end.
They had been stuck in a half-court game without the ability to get something easy, and Pack takes that one and goes all the way himself. And after a miss, Pack again in a position to make something happen, leaves it for Williams back on the line.
Brian Williams 4 for 6 free throw shooting today. And despite a solid third quarter for Seattle, the Sonics can't shake this Denver team. It's a 6-point game. George Carl, you see that scar over the lip. He was a paper boy outside of Pittsburgh, and a dog got him when he was 12 years of age. I better stick to basketball.
You know he changed his route.
62-57. Final seconds of the third quarter. Gill. Nice pass, and Cage is fouled by Brian Williams. That'll be his third.
That was number 8, Brian Williams, his third.
Nice pass down on the baseline after Kendall Gill makes the defense adjust, drops it inside. You got to, again, remember who's shooting the basketball. That's Michael Cage. He doesn't finish a lot of his opportunities, so you want to make sure that he sees Matumbo in front of him rather than foul him from the rear. That's 48%. He misses the first one from the line.
From West Memphis, Arkansas, migrated out to San Diego State. Number 1 pick of the Clippers in '84. Misses them both, and Matumbo pulls in the rebound. About 8-second difference between the shot and game clock. It's a big trip for Denver. Trying to pull it within 3. Rogers has been knocked away. 4 seconds. Pack has to hurry too. It counts, and he is fouled. Oh my!
As Danielson said about Pack, he's either going to make it happen or he isn't. And against the clock, he just put his head down and said, I'm coming to the rim. I don't care who's in front. Look at the elevation, and then a little change with the ball.
Perkins with a foul, his third. Boy, that's that leaping ability. He was, Buddy Chick Hearn would say, the elevator stopped up there on the 7th floor. Everyone else fell down to 6 and 5, and he went up to 8 and scored.
But we've talked so much about the Sonics sprinting away, and we look up there at the same advantage as it was at the half, a 3-point lead for the Sonics, with Pack trying to make it 2.
62-60. 7
for Pack in the quarter.
Seattle had led by 11. 3 seconds. Gill way off the mark. Brian Williams at the end of the quarter. A quarter that started brilliantly for Seattle, but Robert Pack, the Pac-Man of Denver, with 7 points in the quarter to lead a run that pulls the game to 2. 12 minutes to go. Dick Enberg with Steve Jones, Hannah Storm. Welcome back to Seattle. The 605-foot Space Needle, built 32 years ago to celebrate the World's Fair. But through the years, 32 years, reduced in price and size, but not in importance here for NBC, the NBA, and an entire season for one of these teams comes down to this last quarter. 2 points separate them. Favored Seattle, with its hands full with the Denver Nuggets, 62-60.
Ricky Pierce has reemerged, so we'll find out whether that dislocated index finger on the right hand affects him as he tries to help them get some firepower.
McMillan for 2, rattles out, and Brian Stith embraces the rebound. Robert Pack, should Denver pull an amazing upset, he would be one of the unsung heroes. The nation learning about Robert Pack, who's kind of found a way to get into this league.
This is a guy with some offense, and that's Rodney Rogers.
Look at Brian Williams battle for that offensive board.
Got to get it up. They didn't see the shot clock again. It was at 3 when Williams got it. Pack had a chance for a 3 and wasn't aware of the time.
Well, the air ball and the shot didn't touch iron, so the clock continued to run. Number 8 seed in the 5-game series has never beaten number 1 ever. Pierce. Michael Cage gets the offensive rebound.
They've played 20 series between 1 and 8, and somebody at the 8 spot is finally going to break through. They get a foul against, I think it's Robert Pack.
Reaching in, yes, Pack. And of course, tomorrow here on NBC, Game one will feature number 1 against number 8.
Pack showing you some strength as he just yanked a big, strong Vincent Askew off that ball. And Askew goes to the line for the first time this afternoon.
Don't forget that triple-header tomorrow that begins with number 1 seed in the East, Atlanta, against number 8 Miami. Then we'll be in Houston as the Phoenix Suns and Charles Barkley take on Hakeem Olajuwon. And then the Knicks and the Bulls. Marvin Matt will be bringing you that one from Madison Square Garden. Tom Hammond and Bill Walton will start the day in Atlanta. Tom Hammonds plays here for Denver. Vincent Askew with the 2 free throws. 64-60. First points of this fourth quarter. And the pressure on defensively by Seattle in the backcourt. This crowd doing everything it can to help.
The pace of this game has been in favor of the Nuggets, and we know that Seattle does not do well in games under 90 points.
Ooh, dangerous pass. Robert Pack hanging for a 15-footer. 13 points for Pack. On the season, average 9.5. Sean Kemp from the side. Cage and Williams, and Brian Williams wins that fight. He has 14 boards.
Rogers looks for a 3.
He likes the 3. Brian Williams follows it home. It's tied at 64 with 10:09 to go. What a rally by Denver, down by 11 in the third quarter. It looked as if Seattle finally had put all the pieces together, but Denver had trouble with a young team. Now they believe they can win.
And the Sonics were supposed to have the deeper, better bench, and more proven, and it has been the bench of the Nuggets that's been the big difference.
That call goes to Seattle out of bounds. Matumbo could not save it. There's a timeout. 9:48 left in the fourth.
Brian Williams keeping that ball alive for Denver, and their second chance points have kept them in the ball game. And he has been huge on the boards. If the ball has been up in the air, Brian Williams has somehow been around, 2 hands and a cap. Dan Issel got to be off the seat with that.
15 points, 14 rebounds.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment takes us back exactly 6 years ago to the day. Another Game 5. Denver and Doug Moe's team against Seattle Supersonics. The Nuggets came away with a 115-95 win over Seattle, advancing 3 games to 2. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft donates $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. 9:48 left in the fourth quarter. Tied at 64. The fourth tie of the game. Denver is on a current 11-2 run.
Payton back in the ball game to see if he can direct some things and also get some penetration, break down that Nugget defense, which has had them really playing slow down basketball.
Ricky Pierce, and the foul is on Pierce for charging. His first.
Foul call on Ricky Pierce. His first.
Pierce, an extremely aggressive drive here, but that left arm goes out and trying to get control of the ball right into the chest of Brian Stitt.
Robert Pack into dunk, and Denver has the lead.
Good exchange. Get it, give it, go to the basket, and they hurt the Sonics for the first time on that kind of a play.
John Kemp has had a quiet series. Askew feeds underneath the cage.
Now who looks confused? It's the Sonics. Here.
The veteran Ricky Pierce. A 2-point shot. Ties it at 66. His first points of the game. 8:50 to go. Try it again.
Back to Rogers with an advantage against Askew.
Knocked away, and a reach-in foul against Askew.
Well, Dick, you've been around since the beginning of basketball with Naismith, and this was one of the original plays, give and go and over the top, except they didn't jump that high in the beginning.
Well, they couldn't because Dr. Naismith, that peach basket would rip up the way these guys fire it down. He wouldn't allow it.
Pack and Williams have been the story for the Denver Nuggets, and they have really kept them in the ball game with the play off the bench.
Meanwhile, George Karl goes to that deep bench of his, and Shrimp and Perkins come in. Stiff. And another foul. Perkins fourth.
Foul is on Sam Perkins, his fourth.
George Karl was right. They weren't going to be overwhelmed. It was going to be a tight game. I don't think he thought it was going to be armpit time, however.
Not this late to be this tight, or in fact to be behind. 67-66. Stith now with his 4 points. And they've all been free throws. A lot of clock watching now. It ticks away on the season for one of these teams.
Both teams have been very aggressive at the defensive end, and the Nuggets have really been successful in keeping them away from half-court layups.
Foul is on Robert Pack.
Foul is on Pack, not Rogers. The second on Robert Pack. Reminder, tomorrow night, following our NBA playoff tripleheader action, continues on NBC, an all-new Sequest adventure. Then stick around for the box office blockbuster Thelma and Louise, starring Susan Sarandon and Oscar-winning Gina Davis. Take the ride of your life with Thelma and Louise after Sequest tomorrow night here on NBC. Detlef Schrempf.
Crowd has been spoiled through the regular season by the Sonic success and the dominating wins here. They're all nervous and telling these players, play like you want to win, and they want to win, but this other team in blue is playing inspired basketball right now, and they think they have a shot at it.
Well, Seattle losing only 4 times all year, 37-4 at home. Williams to Pack for 3. Robert Pack, he's unconscious here in the second half. 18 for Pack. That matches the biggest lead of the game for Denver, 4. Detlef Schrempf saves it for Kemp.
Notice they come out of that middle because Matumbo's in there, and they are just really struggling to score the ball.
Kemp to Payton. He has to come out. Pierce waits for Stith to fly by. And the rebound and foul against Schrempf for riding in, his 4th.
Dan Issel said if we could just score the ball, we could win this game. He didn't know that this was going to be the guy that was going to be scoring the ball and making the threes. That is just his 8th three-point field goal, his 3rd of these playoffs, but he's not a three-point shooter.
All season long, Robert Pack. Quiet from outside. He's not known for his offensive talent. Playmaker and speed, and can penetrate, but not an outside shooter. And Payton trying to hawk him in the backcourt. Pack was the man down on his back in pain when he was toppled on that play with Payton. Stith inside. Oh, a power move by the 6'5" Stith. 73-67, the biggest deficit of the game for favored Seattle. 7 minutes to go. And the foul.
The Denver Nuggets have the Sonics jumping off their feet and running at everything, and that allows penetration for Stith, and he's able to get it off the glass to build that lead. Dan Issel couldn't be in a better position.
Welcome to Seattle. Dick Enberg with Steve Jones and Hannah Storm. Robert Pack has been brilliant today all season long. 82 games. He made 6 3-pointers. He has 5 in the playoffs, 2 for 3 today. Never has a number 8 seed beaten a number 1. So the Denver Nuggets, seeded 8th in the West, have a 6-point lead with 6:48 to go. Detlef Schrempf Utah, having eliminated San Antonio 3-1, awaits the winner. If it's Denver, Utah will have the home court advantage. Phoenix and Golden State. Phoenix wins that one, and we'll meet Houston tomorrow here on NBC. We understand Gopher Gin has won the Kentucky Derby. One of these teams going for something stronger than that, or at least bubblier, more effervescence. And there is Brian Stith's first field goal of the game. 9 points for him, a 2-pointer. Check that, his second, both coming here in the fourth quarter. Shrimp inside, beats Rogers, 75-70. 6:19 to go. This crowd of nearly 15,000 that has seen Seattle run up the best record in the NBA this year. Nervous now, almost a steal by Gill. Rogers saves, gets it to Williams. Pack, can he hit another three? Oh my!
Robert Pack for three.
He has matched his entire season's total of trays in a 5-game playoff series.
Somebody had to get hot. It turns out to be Pack. He's got 10 1/4, and they have an 8-point lead. And this crowd stunned right now. They got 5 minutes to get it going.
Kendall Gill can't hit. Perkins with a rebound. Gill and a foul. The Sonics came out roaring to open the second half, opened an 11-point lead and appeared to be on their way. But Denver has fought back, and now they have their biggest lead. And Robert Pack's steady right hand, the difference in the game.
Reggie Williams returns to the Denver lineup at the line for Seattle.
Rodney Rogers picked up that last foul, the rookie's fourth. Kendall Gill. 15 points for the ex-Illinois star. And there's... So only 29 tries. That tells you something right there. He's just not an outside shooter on the season. He's 6 for 10 in threes in the playoffs.
Perimeter shooting has never been the strength of his game, but today he has been that hero that books are written about. Along with Brian Williams, they have been the difference for the Denver Nuggets.
Denver by far the youngest team in the league. Can they hold up now? The pressure of the home crowd. Defense that was the toughest in the NBA, forcing more turnovers by the opposition, stealing more balls than anyone else. And Dan Issel, a great star with Kentucky, and of course 15 years in the league with Denver, trying to keep the pieces together. They've had a couple of clock violations. Matumbo hits the rim, so the ball alive, and Williams saves it. He's fouled by Kendall Gill. Brian Williams, a terror on the boards, 16 rebounds.
Gill is second, 14 foul.
Maybe he's playing this inspired game for Ayrton Senna, but he has been on the edge and all over the place today, keeping the ball alive. Gill picks up the personal foul.
Closing in on the 5-minute mark. 5 minutes left. Matumbo double team to Pack. Brian Williams hits. 80-72 Denver. Under 5 minutes to go. Kemp to Perkins, the three-point shooter. He's got another. 3 of them in the game for veteran Sam Perkins. He's 3 for 3 today. 11 points for Perkins. 4.5 left. It would be an upset measured with the biggest upsets in NBA playoff history if Denver pulls it off. Seattle's crowd is going to do everything to deny. Brian Stith. Rebound to Gill. Perkins open at the other end. Another three. It was close, and Reggie Williams kept it away from Sean Kemp. Here's Pack. To Williams. And he was fouled. There was a chance at a three-point play.
You know what it is? It's the X factor. You never know who's going to step up. And today for the Nuggets, it's been 2 guys, Robert Pack and Brian Williams, that have been the difference in not only keeping them in the game, but getting them on top. And Williams goes back to the line.
Yes, 17 rebounds. He has 17 points. Brian Williams rebounds by quarter. He came in full time when Matumbo picked up 3 early fouls left with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. 6-point game. Shrimp. Partially blocked by Stiff and pulled on by Williams. Fans wanted a foul. Shrimp playing with 5 fouls. Pat takes it in. Reggie Williams with another offensive rebound, and he scores. He had to raise that shot up around the clock over the backboard to get it in.
The Sonics a desperate team right now, and they get a big shot to come in from the perimeter from Sean Kemp.
Kemp, the star of this Seattle team, with only 15 points. A little over his average in the 5-game series. 3:14 to go. Payton on Pack. Pack with a beautiful pass, but Williams misses the slam, and Denver's luck is good as the ball goes all the way out to the sideline to Brian Stith and George Karl. That's something you can't coach against. That's a break for the visitors.
Well, the aggressive play of these two players, Pack and Williams, but too hard off the back. The hammer doesn't fall, but right there they get the possession again.
Timeout, Denver.
And Denver wants a timeout.
Good time for especially those folks in the Mile High City to take a deep breath. Underdog Denver leads by 6 with 3 minutes and change remaining. Only 4 other teams in NBA playoff history have rallied from 0-2 down. That's what Denver's trying to do. Suns did it against the Lakers last year. But it's plays like this at both ends by Brian Williams.
You see Robert Pack missing, but they have been aggressive on the board, and second chance points have been huge this afternoon. 20 offensive rebounds to 6. And it's a big advantage for the Denver Nuggets over what has been a very good rebounding team, the Sonics, all season long. And this is a day that will be one of those black marks in a 63-win season for George Karl if they don't get it done.
He's got 3:06 left. Stith on the line to try to extend the lead to 8.
And with money on the line, Dan Issel believes in number 23 at the free throw line. He feels that this is one of the calmest, coolest players on his team. He had struggled to get the ball in from the field, but he gets 1 of 2 there.
23-year-old Stith makes it 84-77. And a foul at the other end. Reggie Williams. His 5th.
Sonics in a bust out and a quick pass ahead to Detlef Schrempf. This time Detlef Schrempf gets the call. Really should be no complaint from Reggie, but he said, I got away with a few holes earlier, so why would you call that one?
Schrempf with 16 points. Now is the leader for Seattle. Once again, he's averaging 18 in the playoffs as you see Nate McMillan come in for Sam Perkins. Perkins shackled with 5 fouls himself.
And George Karl is also thinking turn the ball over. They got to turn that ball over and generate some cheap points if they possibly can. 1 of 2 for Detlef Schrempf. Both teams missing big free throws all afternoon, and it's been this little general right here that's been the difference. At
3, knocked away by Schrempf, and a 20-second timeout beat the buzzer. There's about a second remaining, although the buzzer sounded. Now we can tell you the real secret to Denver today. Look at Coach Dan Issel. He played and was an All-America at Kentucky for the legendary Adolph Rupp, and Rupp always wore a brown suit. I asked him yesterday, what did you learn from the Baron? He said, 1, a work ethic, and 2, the brown suit. He said he wore that in Game 3, Denver won in Denver. He wore it in Game 4, and he hustled to get it clean for this Game 5. So Baron Adolph Rupp of Kentucky watching from somewhere saying brown is beautiful. They want 2 seconds. Let's 1 second is on the shot clock. Let's go back to the replay.
The shot clock is going down. Ryan Williams doesn't have any idea, but he wants to score. Loses control of the ball. By the time he gets it and calls a timeout, it's 1 second.
That's a right call.
But shoot, if you want to win a game, you may as well beg for all the time that you can get. They got a catch-and-shoot situation here. They've had some shot clock violations this afternoon.
To Matumbo, and it's batted away by Shrimp on the 24-second violation in Seattle. Winning many games this year with its defense. It's the number 5 offense in the league and the number 6 defense, Seattle. And their defense really keyed the way they play at the offensive end.
Everyone that has seen the Sonics play said if you can slow them down and you can take care of the basketball, you can beat them. And that's what the Denver Nuggets are trying to do. Keep this slow dance going for another 2:26.
Gill. Hendo Gill through Mount Matumbo. 84-80. 2:16 to go. Hardly a soul sitting here at the Seattle Coliseum. A new 24 for Denver and a whistle. That was a 24-second punt. They did not touch iron on the shot by Matumbo.
Matumbo trying to break down Sean Kemp, wheels in, and the ball did not hit the rim. Ryan Williams kept it alive. Reggie Williams makes the save, but the clock is expired. Matumbo over there arguing, saying, it had to touch something. I was too close.
It did not. So it's 84-80, 1:52 to go.
Composure is critical for the Nuggets right now. They don't want to give up any cheap score.
Take another look at it. Matumbo fouled by Kemp. But no ball. But the ball definitely did not touch the rim. And Perkins, the three-point threat. 1 minute, 40 seconds to go. The double team, and they're going to call a foul on Pack, I believe.
Pack was a little bit too aggressive. Whenever you double team, you don't have to steal the basketball, and that's what Pack was trying to do, so that gives the Shrimp and the Sonics a chance to score cheaply, and it also stops the clock. But he saw that ball sitting out there, and he thought he had a chance to make a play on it.
This old Kentucky gentleman trying to be cool.
You've been so good.
84-81, Denver's lead.
Last year, the Phoenix Suns had to go to OT to put away
the Lakers in Game 5.
And that was the number 8 seed, scaring them to death. So Alfonso Ellis will come in, replace Stitt, as Dan Issel is thinking, I got to close down the middle. I got to keep my rebound advantage. Free throws, both teams ugly this afternoon.
Shrimp hits them both. It's a basket game with 1:40 to go. Payton, one of the superb defenders in the NBA, pressuring Pack. Six on the clock. Ellis with 4. Over Shrimp. Oh, what a clutch 10-footer from Alfonso Ellis. He has 14. Kemp at the other end with Matumbo.
Crowd saying, no, Sean, no, Sean. You want something better. But Matumbo is not letting them get inside.
The block by Matumbo is 5th of the game. Kemp gets it anyway. 86-84, the final minute of the season for Denver or for Seattle. Who would have ever thought you'd put those two teams in that sentence? On the clock. Williams off balance. Rebound Gill. To Payton. Tie it up. Supersonics lost only 19 games in the entire season. One of the reasons, the play of Sean Kemp. Shot blocked.
And Dikembe Matumbo rejected the first one, but Kemp wanted that one and was not going to be denied. That brought him within 2. And then after a shot clock miss, the Sonics are on a bust out, and it's Gary Payton tying it up, and they have the crowd on their feet thinking that they have a little momentum. They scored 4 in a row. They might be able to win in regulation.
86-86, 35 seconds to go. And a 20-second timeout called by Denver, having trouble inbounding the ball against the pressure defense. Now, Dan Issel's team this year trying to do something that's so out of character for Denver. Since 1990, 166 road games played by the Nuggets. They won only 31. And here they're trying to win number 32 on the road against the best record in the NBA to advance to the next round. We'll be right back. You play 82 games of the regular season to get into the playoffs. 16 make it, some with high seeds, some with low. And you play the first round of 5, and now you're down to the final seconds, and the game is tied. And who wants the shot that will take you to the next round? Utah awaits the winner today.
First priority for Dan Issel and his Denver Nuggets is to inbound the ball. They tried it underneath their own hoop, realized that might be a huge mistake for them, so they're going to take it at half court. They've got 1 timeout left. The Sonics have 3 and a 20. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf comes into the game, and he, of course, is in there to make some free throws should he get fouled.
Well, the best free throw shooter in the league, Abdul-Rauf of Denver, now on the floor. Reggie Williams, by far the most experienced NBA player on this kiddie core Denver team. It's going to be around for a long time. We're going to be talking about these Nuggets for many years. Franchise building a real powerhouse. Robert Pack has had an extraordinary day here in Seattle with 21 points. Over Gary Payton, who is guarding him tenaciously. LaFonso Ellis, the 24-year-old Notre Dame graduate, hits a 12-footer for the lead, and there are 15 seconds left.
They got the ball into him initially in a good deep position. He wasn't ready to shoot it here. He's just getting it up against the clock, and that's the second time he has been pure under pressure. The reaction, you wonder if he wanted to hear himself scream.
That's if you were with us earlier. He said it gets so noisy in the playoffs in the NBA arenas. Even when I scream, I tried it in Denver, I couldn't hear myself. Well, he certainly silenced for the moment this Seattle crowd. And Dan Issel trying to act cool over there on the sidelines. The 44-year-old Issel, his team responding to the challenge of Seattle, a heavy favorite, in the way they wiped out Denver in games 1 and game 2. I think the entire world thought, hey, this is going to be a quickie for Seattle and on to the next round of business. But Denver winning game 3 and then in overtime game 4, and now lead with 15 seconds to go in the decisive game 5. And don't forget, fans, tomorrow beginning at 12 noon, NBA Showtime, and Brian Shaw, a man who has fought through incredible personal tragedy in the last year, star of the Miami Heat, who will try to go for the 8 versus 1 against Atlanta. That starts at 12:30 promptly. 12:30 tomorrow, Miami, Atlanta, followed by the battle in Houston. Charles Barkley and the Suns, who were finalists last year against Hakeem Olajuwon. Many feel he'll be the most valuable player in the NBA when the votes are announced. And then the third of our tripleheader sends us to Madison Square Garden in New York. The defending champion Chicago Bulls against the New York Knicks. What a day tomorrow. Let's hope that those games come close to the drama of this one. Seattle, one of the 60-win seasons, actually 63. Only 2 have lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Both of them the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Sonics got to give themselves 2 chances to tie or win the ball game. 15.2 seconds left in this ball game, so they want to make sure that they run a quick, hard, aggressive play and then crash the board.
Perkins is the three-point shooter. He has 3 today. Shrimp. Williams knocks it away. And the whistle with 7 seconds left. A timeout, Seattle. So good defense by Denver and Reggie Williams in particular.
And both coaches wringing wet as Reggie is able to get a little hole and then get around, get a piece of the basketball. Shrimp, knowing that he's doubled and not in a good position to make a pass, calls a timeout.
All right, you're George Karl. To whom do you go for the shot here? Who do you try to set it up for?
Well, you know, they would normally in this situation try to get something inside and very quickly, but Matumbo has basically wiped out all of those possibilities. The guy that has the best chance to get a score, the people that they had out there, is Kendall Gill or Jetlet Shrimp. They tried to post Shrimp the last time against the smaller Reggie Williams. They don't have as much time, so they got to have a quick hitting play, and then they'll go. Look for Gary Payton to try to create something with penetration. Sean Kemp collapsing off of the wing.
And of course on the Denver side, their strong suit in this situation is the best shot blocker in all of the NBA, Dikembe Mutombo. The mountain in the middle really changes the whole focus of the Seattle offense. It restricts them to certain areas, most of those away from the hoop.
George Karl did not want this to come down to a one-possession basketball game, but that is where he is right now.
And don't forget that Sam Perkins, whose whole lifestyle changed under Karl a year ago at this time, when he suddenly realized he could hit the long-range shots, became their three-point shooter. Had another good year, made 99 on the season, shot nearly 37%, and he's 3 for 4 today. He's the three-point choice. But a tie is what Seattle's looking at, not a three-point desperate win. Only 7 seconds in which to accomplish at least a tie.
This is not the best position to have to inbound the ball. Reggie Williams will be up and bouncing, trying to make sure that they're under pressure. Payton
short. Kendall Gill knocks it home with a half-second remaining. Tied at 88.
The offensive rebound has not been the story for the Sonics today. Payton is short with this, and all of this time they've been able to keep him from getting second effort. The outstretched hands of Kendall Gill, and he is worth the trade for all of these people in Seattle right now.
And the irony of it is that because of Matumbo, the shot is short and becomes a good pass. Doesn't even get to the rim, and that allows Gill to slip in and make the shot. 20 points for Kendall Gill to lead Seattle, and for George Karl, what must be boiling underneath? How could he be so unemotional?
It's exactly the way he drew it up, and not the way that Dan Issel saw the game coming to a conclusion.
0.5 of a second left. And it's only a desperation chance for Denver. It appears we're headed for overtime unless something miraculous happens.
Last year was overtime that pulled Phoenix through, and the Sonics, they're riding the same kind of hope. Phoenix won 62 last year, 63 for the Sonics this year, and they are hoping that this last basket, which they got on a miss from Gary Payton, is their omen and their sign that they can get out of this tough first round and get on with what they think is the business of winning a championship this year.
It is interesting. You brought up the Suns against the Lakers a year ago. Just to remind fans, that game came down to the final shot taken by the Lakers. Was it James Worthy, and he was forced to take a 30-footer, went into overtime, and then the rookie, it was Miller time. Oliver Miller was the bright star for Phoenix that captured that 5th game, rallying from 2 games down, and took them all the way to the finals against the Bulls. So here's the last play of regulation. Reggie Williams inbounding the ball. Nate McMillan, the defender, in front of him. Matumbo's the illogical guy to big lob pass, see if he can tip it in.
Well, you're in a catch-and-shoot situation. It's either a lob or a throw, too.
Matumbo doesn't get it off. It doesn't count. Matumbo hits it, but too late. Overtime, 5 minutes at 88 all.
Score at the end of regulation.
Catch and shoot is what this situation calls for under NBA rules. He caught it, wheeled, but the ball was still in his hand. Oh, what a basket to have taken away.
There are some plays, some shots that will be long remembered in that man's mind. Overtime coming up. 5-minute period in Seattle. They're even at 88, and on we go. A new game of 5 minutes in overtime. Think about it, if you will, fans. The last second of this game, in the last second plus a tenth, well, actually, in the last 6/10 of a second, Kendall Gill scored to tie, and Matumbo, a tenth of a second too late, scored what could have been the winner.
The last time they played overtime was game 4. The Sonics got the first basket and were overwhelmed in a 5-minute period, 12-3.
Fouls will be a factor, and we'll update that for you as soon as we can. Don't forget, Shrimp has 5 for Seattle, and Reggie Williams has 5 for Denver. Matumbo tips to Pack. Reggie Williams, LaFonso Ellis, Bryant Stiff, and Matumbo for Denver. Hayden, Shrimp, Perkins, Gill, and Kemp for Seattle.
In a game like this, at this point, you want to try to move the ball, move people as quickly as you can. Working against the clock again, it's at 5 seconds for LaFonso Ellis.
Pat for 3 is going to miss everything. And there's the 24-second buzzer. So again, that's about 5 times that the Seattle defense has forced the turnover on the 24.
The Nuggets' plan is to use as much time, but they forget that there's 24 seconds to shoot, and they're playing like they got a 30-second clock, and they're getting the ball in a position with about 4 seconds, and no one's aware where the clock is.
Seattle up by 11 early in the first half, and then it was an 8-point lead for Denver late in the game, and Shrimp misses the easy shot from close range. Matumbo pulls it down for Denver.
They know that Williams has 5, and that's the best place where they're going to go to try to get a score. Wrestling match between Ellis and Sam Perkins as he tried to break him down. Clock at 5. Ball goes out of bounds.
4 seconds left for the Nuggets to get off a shot. Brian Williams checking in.
Was Detlef Shrimp thinking about Matumbo? He never saw him. He just missed that one. Hit the back of the rim. And he'd love to have that one back. Tip out of the game, Williams in.
Only 1 game today, but 3 tomorrow on NBC beginning at noon. Let's hope it's got some of this excitement. Not much time for Ellis. And another 24-second, and how Kemp was able to defend without fouling there is something that Coach Issel is wondering.
Control at the offensive end is critical, and LaFonso Ellis really wasn't under control, trying to make an attempt, and Kemp was able to get his hand on top of the ball. Issel can't believe, no call.
So 2 possessions for Seattle in overtime, or for Denver, both end in a 24-second violation, and Kendall Gill, whose shot tied it at the closing buzzer, has the first points in overtime. 22 for Gill to lead all scores. 3.5 left in overtime. Matumbo. Batted out goaltending. I believe it was Kemp who had his hand higher than the rest. 90-90.
It looks like this hoop is going to go to Williams as he active on the glass, gets a tip on it, and He knocks that ball away, Sean Kemp, and they give the basket to Matumbo.
8 points for Matumbo, but his story isn't revealed in just the scoring. Kemp with Matumbo. Wide open, Payton got away from Pat. Good assist from Sean Kemp.
One of the few times they were able to move Matumbo out of the lane and have a cutter come in. Good exchange between the two All-Stars, Kemp and Payton. Kendall Gill has left his man, so Reggie Williams wide open
For a three. He hits it. And Denver takes the lead 93-92. The veteran Reggie Williams with 11. 2:38 to go. Kemp and Matumbo again. And Kemp rolls it in. 94-93 Seattle. With 5 fouls on Matumbo.
They want Matumbo to try to beat them, and they're telling everybody to hold their position. The shot clock is now down to 2.
Not going to get it off. The third violation in overtime. 24 seconds, not enough time for the Nuggets.
And Issel telling his players, look at the clock. Guys, we got to have a clue. This is the thing that's hurt them in such a tremendous effort for
Gill doesn't save it. A touch of shrimp flash out of bounds to Denver with 1:48 to go. Again, Seattle, best record in the league. Team to beat in the West. Denver, the 8th seed, the long shot, the youngest team in the NBA, trying to pull an incredible upset in Game 5 after losing the first 2 games here to start this series. 94-93 Seattle.
Reggie Williams points to the clock saying, we got to go now. It's under 10.
Into Ellis. Ellis, almost a blind shot from away from the defense, and he is fouled.
This time they get a play going to the basket. Ellis is able to get this one away and one.
Payton got him over the shoulder right there. LaFonso Ellis with 18 points.
And Ellis has had 3 huge baskets down the stretch, and there's 2 in the 4th. Here in the overtime, a chance to give them a 2-point advantage.
The 3-point play for Ellis. It's 96-94, and George Karl wants to talk it over with 1 minute 26 seconds remaining. Tenacity of this young Denver team is puzzling Seattle. Game's been tied 8 times, 13 lead changes. Denver currently by 2. Here's a look at the West. Utah, with its 3 games to 1 win of the Spurs, awaits either Seattle at home in the Game 1 of the second round, or they will play at Seattle. It's Phoenix and Houston in the bottom half of the brackets, and they'll face off tomorrow at the Summit. That'll be the middle game of our triple-header. Here's the foul situation. Reggie Williams, 1 away from disqualification. Shrimp and Perkins, as well as Payton. No room left for them in that department. 1 minute, 26 seconds remaining in the first overtime. Shrimp to inbound the ball for George Karl Sonics.
Well, everyone said in the West, this Denver Nugget team was the least likely chance to have a chance to advance when there were about 5 teams that could win it all. Near steal.
Alfonso Ellis, and then Shrimp blocked by Matumbo. A record-setting block. His 30th of the series, Pat. And a touch last by Perkins. Matumbo, in a 5-game series, 30 block shots. That is a new NBA playoff record for a 5-game series.
You can gamble when you have the ultimate rejector back there. Matumbo led the league in shot blocks this year, and that's a big save. They get a good break at the other end, and now they'll set trying to come through LaFonso Ellis. 11 on the shot clock.
Ryan Williams couldn't get the pass, and it's Payton with Pat, and knocked away by Reggie Williams. Final minute. 54 seconds remain. 2-point lead, Denver.
Dan Issel was telling his guys, come to meet the ball, as the Sonics are trying to come up with one more fortunate break. Looking inside for Brian Williams.
Pat picks up the loose ball. 4 seconds on the clock. Kemp blocks it with 1 second left. And again, Denver flirting with a 24-second violation. And if Dan Issel's team wins this one, he's going to take all of these young kids into the classroom and say, together now, let's start counting. 1, 2, and when you get to 24 or at 23, I don't want a ball anywhere near you.
And Issel's team might set a record for shot clock violation. There's another one.
That's their 4th in overtime alone. And Issel saying that's not a full second, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's a full second left.
Again, the clock is showing 1, but it could be less than that, and it's a catch-and-shoot situation. The ball was blocked anyway, so really it doesn't matter.
When it gets to 1, it's really 0 point something in seconds.
Well, Robert Pack has been everywhere, and he was going after the shot clock. He was thinking, hey, that's home cooking for sure. That clock went too soon.
So another chance for Seattle, and Denver in some ways in trying to chew up the time, which has been part of their strategy throughout. There's no argument there. They've executed the game plan of making it a half-court game, use the time, a lesser opponent trying to deny a better opponent possessions, but it has cost them as well. And with a timeout, we'll step aside for these words, 96-94. Dikembe Matumbo from Zaire, who teamed with Alonzo Mourning at Georgetown University, and his Hoya coach John Thompson. He looks more worn as a fan than he did on the bench. He doesn't have the towel. He's working the handkerchief. 96-94, 32.6 seconds. Ball to Shrimp at midcourt for Seattle.
The Sonics are in a 2-for-1 position, but I think they want to work for a good score. They got a chance to tie the ball game up. The Nuggets have a foul to give.
Kemp with Matumbo. Another block for Matumbo. 28 seconds left, so there's about 5-second difference in the shot and game clocks.
Sonics looking to make a turnover.
And the foul by Kendall Gill stops the clock with 18.7 seconds and puts Robert back on the line. Have I told you we're on tomorrow with 3 games and starting at noon? Snapper?
Well, we hope that all 3 of those games have this kind of excitement as we've come down to the final seconds, and the ultimate rejector in this game, changing what has happened for the Sonics and the way they have played. Matumbo, 31 blocks. That's an NBA record for a 5-game series. The other hero, Robert Pack, a chance to build a lead to 3 or 4.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Mark Eaton, and Manute Bol had blocked 29 in a 5-game series, and Pack, an improbable hero. 21 points today, a couple trays mixed in, plus his floor leadership. And he coolly drops them both for a 4-point lead, so that puts more pressure on George Karl. It's still a 2-possession game for Seattle. Dikembe Matumbo, his defense, 8 blocks to match his 8 of game 4. 14 rebounds and 8 points. And here against Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp with a good quickness advantage, but Matumbo with the recovery and the long arms wipes it away, and he strides to the sideline saying, hey boys, ride me the rest of the way, and we'll get to the semifinals of the Western Conference.
There's his dominance, set a NBA 5-game series record. Marks that Bill Russell, the great Celtic, would have enjoyed seeing. Now it has to be a quick move by Seattle because they've got to score and find a way to get the ball back.
Go get a delay of game, the Denver Nuggets do, but the Nuggets still have a foul to give. So they were in real trouble, and they want possession of the ball. That's all they want is possession of the basketball. They don't want to give up a 3.
And Perkins shoots the two, blocked by Brian Williams, recovered by Gill. 8 seconds, Perkins batted back out. McMillan, another three, way short. That's it. Matumbo embraces the ball, and the unlikely upset, one of the great upsets in NBA playoff history. The 8th seed, a team that was 2 games over 500 on the season. The Denver Nuggets, youngest in the NBA, have beaten the team with the best record in the NBA, the Seattle Supersonics. And Dikembe Mutombo, one of the stars. Hannah Storm.
Robert, your teammate Dikembe Mutombo laying prone on the floor in emotion. This is the biggest first-round upset in NBA playoff history. Can you describe your emotion?
The emotion is running real high right now. We all played hard. We knew if we won the 2 at home, anything could happen in Game 5. And we came out, played a lot of heart. I'm just proud of all the guys.
In the third quarter, you went down so hard and you bruised your left hip. But then in that timeout, the coach looked at you, and it looked like he was looking to you to get the offense on track. At that point, you really took the game over.
Definitely. He wanted to know if I could still go, and there's no way I was coming out the game at that point. He wanted me to get the ball, take control of the offense, and make sure we were then something every time down court. I was able to do that, and it turned out in the victory.
Robert, how did you guys maintain your confidence and your composure? They came out with that big run in the third quarter. Here you are. You're in overtime. You're in Seattle. You're a huge underdog. How did you maintain faith in yourself?
I think we maintained it by being able to withstand the first 5 minutes of the game. When the crowd was really into it, we was able to withstand that, and from there on, we had our confidence at a high level, and we really came out, played hard, and got the job done.
Although you gave your coach a bit of a heart attack there with 4 shot clock violations in overtime.
Definitely. That's something we have to work on and execute better. We were fortunate to get away with all those shot clock violations, but, we pulled it out, and we're going to Utah.
I know this is an emotional high for you, but is it possible to look ahead to that Utah series? What do you see there? It's another veteran team just waiting for you.
It's definitely another veteran team, and a lot of things we did in this series we have to work on to do better, execute better, and definitely can't get a lot of shot clock violations like we did tonight, but we're going to enjoy this one and get ready for Utah.
Robert, congratulations on a spectacular performance. Dick?
Thank you, and we're with Dan Issel, the University of Kentucky star, who told us yesterday that in the last 21 years, you've seen every Kentucky Derby either in person or on television. The last time that you did see when you picked Sham, and that was the year Secretariat won. Hey, they called you the horse, and on Derby Day, you need some roses around your neck.
I'll tell you what. I hope I miss a whole lot more of the Kentucky Derbies. This is a whole lot more fun than going to the Derby. But I'll tell you guys something. I did this for 4 years over here with you all before I start coaching this team. You don't sweat as much over here as you do over
Well,
there.
you are wringing wet, and probably the biggest reason is time. Your team had trouble watching the clock today.
Well, I think that showed our inexperience, Steve. I think that in the big games, you lose sight of the shot clock. You really don't know exactly what's happening. You're trying to get to the basket, but I couldn't be proud of our kids. They did a great job. The first game in this building was a throwaway. We stood and watched. We were observers, not participants. But the next 4 games, we played the best team in the NBA head on head.
Hey, Coach. 4 times a 24-second violation in overtime, and you still win the game. Would you have believed that?
No, but we did the same thing in the overtime in Game 4 in Denver. They had a difficult time scoring against our set defense, and we didn't let them get any runouts in the overtime.
Well, you're in the winner's circle. I know you. Well, we're going to go to Hannah, but we have a chance to ask you. Now you're going to play Utah at Utah. How'd you do during the regular season? 1-3, I think, against Utah.
Yeah, we didn't play Utah very well, but we didn't play Seattle very well here either, Dick, and we got one.
Oh, my. Dan Issel and the Denver Nuggets. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen a part of NBA history. This is an upset they'll be talking about for many, many years. I wonder if the Nuggets fans back home are excited. 98-94 upset engineered by the rebounding of Matumbo and blocking the great play of Brian Williams. And how about Robert Pack? Matumbo, hello Zaire. Denver is through to the next round, upsetting highly favored Seattle. See you for a triple header tomorrow.